Hey guys, this is Anthony Morganti from anthonymorganti.com, and this is episode 65 of Photo Critiques. And in Photo Critiques, people send me in some of their best work, and I critique each shot with suggestions on how they can improve it. And today, I'm pleased to critique the work of Ali Areda. I think that's how you might pronounce it, Ali. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Ali's from Saudi Arabia, and I really enjoy critiquing work from people from places I've never been, probably never will go to. It's just very interesting photography. Um, Ali sent me a number of really nice shots, and the first few are some sunsets. And this one I particularly like. I like the fact that Ali really boosted the ISO here. He used 1/2500th of a second, 2500th of a second. And so he obviously could have used a slower shutter speed and a lower ISO. But because he used such a high ISO, he got this grain and this noise in the picture. And I think it really adds to the picture creativity. You guys know what I mean. Creatively adds to the shot. And it's really cool. And we have kind of an interplay between the warmth at the top of the image and the coolness below, and the noise in the shot softens everything, and it's really a really interesting shot. Couple suggestions is these birds that are up here, they kind of just look like noise, so dirt on your sensor or something, so I would clone those out. You might even want to consider these ones right here and just keep these three that are in the lower part of the frame. Also, the image is very, very slightly crooked. This end is slightly lower than that end. And you would just go over to lens corrections, enable profile corrections, and then click level. And you can see how it just very slightly moved. So that's all my suggestions on this shot. This is a very similar shot, obviously done probably at the same exact time. Totally different processing and a look. Whereas this one is cooler overall and kind of shows the interplay between the warmth that's up here and the coolness down here. This one was taken probably just seconds earlier, and you get a whole different look. As you can see, the sun is a little bit higher than it was over here, so you get that a totally different look. That's why it's always important, especially if you're photographing sunsets, is that you stay. Don't just grab your shot and go. Stay for the duration, and even after the sun is below the horizon, you very often get striking colors up in the sky. So you really get, in this case, Ali proved it. We have totally different looks to the shot, and probably literally no more than a minute or two, I bet, apart. Also, excuse me, in this shot I would clone out these birds. They tend to just look like specks on your lens or something, so clone those out, and it's a really cool shot. I like, again, he used a very fast shutter speed, very high ISO to get the noise in the shot, which softens the shot. Very cool. This is a very, very nice shot. In this case now we have some midground elements to look at, and we have even some foreground elements, and it's very, very well done. This shot too, very well done with the silhouette of the boat, nice midground element. We do have sensor spots really all over the place, so you really got to clone out those sensor spots. Take the time to do it. You can see I'm looking at least 6 of them that I could see what my, without enlarging it or anything. So clone out those sensor spots. This shot's very nice. We have this very graphic kind of midground elements, some foreground element. Couple things here is, again, the sensor spots. There's dozens on this shot, so really get rid of those sensor spots. Also, take the time to clean the beach. Get rid of this looks like papers. It's just I don't know, it catches your eye, and it shouldn't. We shouldn't be looking at the garbage on the beach. So I would take the time to clean that out. If you missed any, you could clone it out. Photoshop works a little better than Lightroom in that regard. But get rid of the dirt on the beach and sensor spots. It could be spots on your lens too. because you're in a water environment. There might have been spray or something coming up. So make sure you clean your lens often while you're shooting if needed, and take the time to clean your sensor before you go out. But still, when you get something like this, get rid of them in post. It's a really cool shot. I love the colors. I love the processing. In these types of shots, you have like a lot of detail. It's minute detail. There's subtle lines in the rocks in the foreground here and in the mountains in the back. This is where our eye is searching for something to kind of look at. Now we have this mountain, of course, we're going to look at that, but everything else we're kind of searching around. So this is a kind of scene where you would work it and hopefully try to utilize a leading line, some type of framing, something like that to help the viewer look more towards the middle of the shot where you want them to look. So, but other than that, now the processing and the colors and the exposure itself is really well done. So again, try to work the scene here and try to utilize something that will use a leading line or some framing where you could show this shot much better. In this shot too, you have kind of a partial diagonal line coming in here, kind of a leading line of this kind of spill off area, this the mountain. But again, it's so busy. There's not a lot that we could resolve on. We're kind of looking all over the place. So in this one, you would really want to try to utilize a leading line or framing or something like that to enhance the image. Now in this case here, we have this leading line of the road, even of the sign kind of pointing us in this direction. That helps a lot in this shot. Now of the three shots, this shot is probably the weakest composition because it's just kind of this, ugly barrier here, this, post, probably light posts that go up in the air. It's more man-made stuff than there is actually Mother Nature. But what makes this image stronger is because we have this line that helps lead us through the shot. So just remember that. Try to utilize some leading lines, some framing, something like that to help bring out these images that are busy, that have so much detail in them. We can't really resolve on anything. It's a really nice night shot. Very well done. One thing I noticed is we're starting to get that kind of starburst look on the lamps, and I think you would have accentuated that look if you used an even smaller f-stop. That means a bigger f-stop number. So usually around f16 is where you really exploit those that kind of starburst look on the lamps. So in doing that, you would have had to use a slower shutter speed or a higher ISO. In this case, I might have tried both, but I think I probably would have used just a higher ISO. So I would have used f16, and you probably would have had an ISO around 800, and you would have probably really got some impressive starbursts, for lack of a better term, on the lamps. So something to think about. I covered that in previous critiques if people didn't see those. When you're taking these night shots, if you use a wide open aperture, in this case he was at 18 millimeters, he would have been at f of 3.5. This would have been just a glow on the lights. But as you bring your aperture smaller, you tend to get this kind of starburst effect, and it usually is maximized around f11 to f16 on most lenses. Now, not all lenses will do it. It depends how the diaphragm is constructed inside of the lens. But I have this same exact lens, and I know it does it. And you could see it started to do it at f of 7.1. So as you bring it down, usually around f11, f16, like I said, you really exploit this starburst effect. So for those of you that are wondering what I'm talking about, when you do a night shot, always try to get a shot or two at f of 16, and you're going to have to experiment by either boosting the ISO or slowing down your shutter speed enough where you could keep a steady shot and a properly exposed shot, and see what you come up with. So that's it for Ali. I really appreciate him sending me in his work. Obviously, very, very talented photographer, and I really enjoyed seeing the scenes from in and around Saudi Arabia. Thank you very much, and I'd like to thank everyone who sends me in images to critique. I get a lot in, and I'm pretty behind, but I'm going to try to do a lot to get a little bit caught up. And I'd like to thank everyone who watches all my videos. Thank you very much. And if you have time, go over to my website, anthonymorganti.com, and see all the free photography information I have over there. Check it out. And go to my YouTube channel, please, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate that. That's it for now. I'll talk to you guys soon.